I would like to welcome New South Wales Minister for Customer Service and Minister for Digital, so the right person to kick off this event, Victor Dominello.
Thanks, Ryan. Can I also begin by acknowledging country, pay my respects to elders both past and present. Can I acknowledge the Pearcey Foundation and all the great work you've done, the hard yards you've done when IT wasn't sexy, let's be honest. It was the realm of geeks and strange people for many, many years, but now it really is so pervasive in everything we touch, see, do. It's integral in our lives. So thank you for your outstanding leadership, and in particular, the chair. Oh, there's my good mate Ian. I've seen you last night. Where were you this morning? It's breakfast, mate. And the chair, Wayne Fitzsimmons. I was at an event last night and at the ACS innovation event, and I was reflecting on how in decades past, IT was seen like the tonsils. What does that mean? It means everyone's got them, nobody really knows what they do, and some organisations actually remove them. But that was honestly what IT was like over the last decade or two or three. But now, particularly through the pandemic, we've seen that IT is more like the spine. It is absolutely critical to every organisation. I just can't see an organisational structure without it. It's just super important. And just reflecting on the pandemic, where did ICT come in? Pretty much at every touch point. Initially, we were working with Dr. Ian Opperman to do the modelling around mobility data, because that was a proxy for infection back then. We opened up the data to provide transparency and therefore build trust with our society in relation to what we need to do during the pandemic. We then used data to get the booking systems in place for the vaccine and the booster and digital systems. We used digital through the Service app to create border passes. So when other states were closing and shutting down their borders, we were trying to strike the balance to keep people safe and open. We used the border passes. We turned that around in literally 36 hours. We've used QR systems for checking in to keep us safe, particularly during the Alpha and the Delta wave before the vaccines came up. And we're now using the QR systems for Dine Discover vouchers, day vouchers, and everything else to stimulate the economy. Pretty much everywhere you look, digital, ICT is right at the heart of our response, and it's going to continue. So when we say riding the wave, this is like an eternal wave, that beautiful wave you probably see out on the north head of Hawaii or somewhere amazing, that it's just going to continue. It's a question of, do we continue at pace, do we slow down? But the wave is going to continue. My view is we have an obligation to stay at pace. Ian will counsel me to say, don't go too fast, because we've got to make sure that we build trust in the system, and I'll come to that in a moment. I just want to give you a sense of what riding the wave looks like in New South Wales, because traditionally governments are really, really slow, let's be honest. We're not. When people say, world leading, you don't think, New South Wales government. Traditionally, that's not the case. If you think world leading, you're saying, that's the government of the RTA. That's the old way. The new way is the government of Service New South Wales, where we actually do really believe in putting people first and backed in with seriously smart IT. So what have we got in the pipeline? E-planning, you may know about that. We tried to do the physical amalgamations of council, and that didn't work. I don't think that was successful at all. But what we realised that to drive true efficiency, because all the boffins were saying, if you amalgamate, you'll get efficiencies. But again, I don't think that worked. if you want true efficiencies, what we needed to do is digitise the back end, amalgamate the back end, and that's what we did through e-planning. So it's one portal in. So whether it's Ride Council, Hunters Hill Council, wherever it is, there's one-stop shop for your planning requirements. That has produced enormous efficiency and insights into the planning system that the planners will tell you is just amazing. On top of that, we are building e-construction. So we had the cladding problem a few years ago. I remember speaking to my counterpart down in Victoria. He told me it took them about 12 months and $1 million just to find out where the cladding was. We had the same issue. There was no one place inside a government where I could press a button and find out where the cladding was. We literally had to write to every council and then get people to go out and inspect. That's not riding the wave, that's drowning. And that's putting lives at risk. So through e-planning, through e-construction, through what we're about to see through the digital twin and everything we're building out, we will quickly or very soon be able to press a button and on that have a heat map right before our eyes. This is where this developer has been, so we know this developer's got a bad reputation or is a bad product developer, whatever the case. We can see where the problem is. We can see who the plumber was. We can see where the electrician has been. We can see where the cladding is. We can see where the faulty pipe is. We can see. That's where we need to be to keep people safe. That's amazing. And that will be world leading. We're setting up a strata hub. We got thousands upon thousands of strata buildings. I live in one. Many of you would live in one. There is no one place where you can engage with your strata community to talk about the issues of concern. You wouldn't believe that if somebody, I live on the 7th floor, if I have a heart attack and I call the ambulance, I'm having chest pains, I then call the ambulance, I then collapse. The ambulance will come, they'll try and buzz up, but I'm not picking up. They literally have to call fire and rescue to knock down the door if it's 11 o'clock at night and the strata manager's not there. That's how crazy this is. So we need to build out, and we are building out, the strata hub or strata portal that will be that real-time information point so that we can start communicating effectively with emergency services and the like. But this is what truly riding the digital wave means, real impact on real-life events to help people out. Digital and data is meaningless unless it improves quality of life or reduces suffering. It's just a toy otherwise. What else are we doing? We are doing the e-regulation, another big piece. Fair trading knocks on your door on a Monday, safe work on a Tuesday, local council on a Wednesday, EPA on a Thursday, liquor and gaming on a Friday. I'm waiting to get to the Sabbath. You get what I mean. Like, government is in your face everywhere, and they're all asking you the same question, time and time and time again, as if you've got multiple personalities. We don't treat you as a whole, we treat you as a fraction. What we need to do is start treating you as a whole. That means, again, same what we did with e-regulation, set up a single platform so that you have a single view of government rather than a fractured view. And that, again, will be world leading. We're starting that out with fair trading today, this year. When it comes to smart cities and smart places, working really hard with the team there. Lots of sensors are going to go in the ground, particularly in relation to parking, so we can improve mobility and have visibility about where to park, at what rate, etc., etc. Digital birth certificates. We've already got digital driver's license. So I was reading in the news today that Queensland's going to get their digital driver's license next year, which is great. We've had ours for a number of years now. Pre-pandemic, it was around 30% in terms of take-up. But then after the pandemic, with the QR codes and everything else, the digital maturity of our state has gone through the roof. We are now over 70%, which is extraordinary. Let me tell you, extraordinary adoption. And when I looked at the wheel, there was a very even distribution amongst the age brackets, which was really heartening, because you think, oh, it's just the 18 to 25-year-olds that are owning that space. It is literally a fair distribution around the wheel. We're going to digitise the birth certificate. We'll lead the nation on that. And that's critical as well, because think about this. You got your digital driver's licence in your service wallet, that's 40 points. If you digitise the birth certificate, that's 70 points. So when you go up to a bank to ask for a loan, or you go to a hire car company to hire a car, and they ask you for ID, why do you have to give them your birth certificate? Why do you have to give them your plastic driver's license, which they copy, they put in a cloud and you never see again, but it may end up on the dark web? That is a breach of privacy. That's a privacy risk. In the future, with appropriate privacy settings, you can simply say, no, I've given my birth certificate, my primary source documents, birth certificate, driver's license, to Service New South Wales. Service will validate who I am, and that's enough. I don't need you to have all my private information. So this is where we're moving, and it's really important, because this enhances privacy and security around critical information. We're doing an education wallet. I'm in the university. It'd be remiss of me not to conclude on this penultimate note. And the education wallet. I remember, one of the people I follow a lot is Yuval Harari, and I love Harari because he's a dystopian. The world's going to collapse tomorrow, according to him, which I love. I love that dark side. But I also listen to Ray Kurzweil and Musk and all that. So I try to be balanced, the positive and the negative. But I'll never forget what Harari said. He just had this great metaphor. He said that in centuries past, you'd only have 1 or 2, 3 jobs. Your grandfather was a carpenter. Your dad was a carpenter. You'll be a carpenter, right? And if maybe you shift beyond that, maybe once or twice, but that's about it. And in many ways, your job became your temple. You would just go there and stay there, and that was it. It was stuck in stone pretty much for life and for generations. But as he said correctly, he said, but it's not temple anymore. Your job is not going to be a temple. Your job is going to be a tent, which you're going to pick up and move, pick up and move, pick up and move. Nobody thought 20 years ago that there'd be half the jobs that we got now. Web designers, the whole lot. We've got things now that we weren't even thinking about 20 years ago. So that's the way we're going to have to be. And when he said that, I was thinking, well, that's a labour market mobility issue. And where is a friction when it comes to labour market mobility? Well, I'll tell you where it is. I've only had 3 jobs in my life. I worked at Grace Brothers, in formal hire. Then I did over the Christmas period. But then I had commercial litigator as an employee. Then I became a partner, and then I came into public life. That was it. But I know that I'm rare. Most people are going to have 20, 30 jobs. But if I had to go and get a job tomorrow, I have no idea where my HSC is. I have no idea where my degree is. I did the AICD course about 2 or 3 years ago, have no idea where that paper certificate is. It is crazy. Yet if I need to get a job, I need to show my credentials, my learning. So what we're going to do again is world leading, because I've spoken to a number of recruiters about this, and we're all students for life. Hard skills, soft skills. You can get your HSC, you can get your diploma, your university, you can do the AICD course, whatever it is. But there's also the soft skills. I may have been a surf lifesaver. That's a skill. I may have done some volunteering for the SES. That's a skill. That's a life skill. That should be on my education wallet. All of this stuff should be on my education wallet. So that when I go to a recruiter because there's a new job in the market, and I say to them, look, I'm interested in applying for that job, and I will give you, I'll give you immediate access to this, I don't want you to see that, but I'll have this. Fine. They see it. Then the recruiters say, great. A little bit of small AI on the other side of the ledger, and they say, you know what, we've skimmed the marketplace, and we know that with all of the hard and soft skills you've got, if you did XYZ courses at Sydney University or UTS or wherever it is, we could increase your options by 42%. This is where the world's going. And this is where I want to end, on trust. There's a lot, when you're talking about AI, you're talking massive trust issues. So as we are surfing the wave, I think our biggest thing that we need to prepare for in advance is building trust. Because in digital, things move at pace. We don't have the time to pontificate on top of a mountain and think, what do we do next? It's moving. So you've got to build trust in the system in advance. It's got to be there in the design phase. And when I talk about trust, there's a number of critical elements: privacy, security, transparency, ethics, choice, consent. All of these concepts have to materialise in everything we do, particularly government. If a corporation doesn't give you trust, you move. You say, I don't like you, Apple, I'm going to Google. If a government doesn't give you trust, you're stuck with them for 4 years. And the thing that a government can do that a corporation can't do is put you in jail. So that's why trust is absolutely non-negotiable in everything we do. And if we build that trust in the system, then I really believe that as we continue to ride the wave, the digital wave, particularly in the health space, we will have a profound, when I say we, the IT sector will have a profound impact on improving quality of life and reducing suffering. So thank you very much for having me, and congratulations again for your leadership over the years. Cheers.